Morning here, at least on the East Coast. It's almost 10 a.m. The temperature here is ridiculous again. It is 8 degrees. It was -3 this morning. So another cold week ahead. The groundhog that you hear about, Puxatawny Phil, saw his shadow. So it's another 3 weeks. 6 weeks of winter. You think it's so cold here? What do you think the groundhog is going to do? Get right back. It is so cold. There's a few things going on, of course. So Iran is claiming that they're still negotiating a meeting in Turkey. It's not finalized because that's the new thing right now, that meeting in Turkey between Witkoff and the foreign minister. Then they're saying, and I could not confirm it, I didn't see Lindsey say it, maybe he said it on a news program that Lindsey Graham said, war is coming. I have no evidence that he said that. I don't know if he said it on a news program. You got to see the stuff that's coming out. They released another mariachi video with their missiles. That's what I call it, the mariachi. Good morning, Uncle Tank, Cynthia, Ali, Navi. They released another one of those mariachi videos. This one with missiles. Did you guys see it? Yeah, Witkoff is on the way. This is what the rumor is. They're saying it's not finalized. Another thing that was out there is that the Nimitz carrier is heading toward the Middle East. It'll be there in a few days. That's another rumor out there. There's so much stuff again. It's like every day you hear more and more. It is bizarre. But as talks go on, more and more assets are being sent in. I don't see these talks being successful. They're saying we're not sending out your enriched uranium to any country. That's what they're saying now, publicly. There's so much, again, rhetoric and yes, that's what, dude, Nacho. I said that a few days ago. I referenced Let's Make a Deal with the old host, Monty Hall. Deal or no deal? It's funny you say that because I mentioned that as a joke a few days ago. It's like, what's behind door number 1? But this is what you can expect. Somebody put something in chat that I need to check. Reporting for duty, Uncle Tank. But so again, the mariachi thing is out again. It is, I'm going to show it. Even though it's total propaganda to display their missiles. And it looks like a bad game show. Have you guys seen the video yet? Good morning, Petros. Yeah, I'm not seeing a deal either. And now they're saying the missiles are not non-negotiable. Because the focus you hear about is nuclear. What about the other stuff? That's part of the deal too. Witkoff was the one that outlined the updated version of the so-called deal like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So has that changed? The items on that changed? Don't ask me because I don't know what the hell is going on now. Is this just about nuclear? Does it have to do with their missile program? Does it have to do with money to the proxies? Does it have to do with the people of Iran? Meaning you have to release all those that are detained? Does it mean zero enrichment? What does it mean? I guess we're all going to find out, right? I think this could all be setting up and I hate to say it, I really, really do, because I know I'm gonna get hit with all kinds. Maybe something happens next weekend. I said that last weekend. I said that the weekend before. But the word is the Nimitz is heading toward the Middle East. So I have no clue, just like most of you, what the heck is going on. I still will say it, that this is all a delay to get all our pieces in place. I'll still say it. I still think the president's going to make a move. And I'll say it again. Do you think he wants to be in the same? This is just from from a political same breath as Obama. I don't think so. So Dan says midweek. Bill, calm down, please, and open your eyes and other side behind our knowledge. Dude, I can't take anything. I had to take everything with a grain of salt, Navi. No offense. I know what you were saying a few days ago, 2 weeks, all that. I understand. Oh, it can't start already. I just went live. Chris, I agree. We need the other carry. There was a military think tank analysis weeks ago that I read. That's why, there was a think tank. And they said you should have at least one carry group, if not two. They said you do not attack unless you have those assets in place. That's one. They clearly said that. And I believe that's part of it. Now they're saying, Jordan, you better not allow the United States to use your country as a base for attack. Now they're coming out with that. I'm going to share my screen in a second. The drone was out there, but the drone is no longer there. The Iranian drone was flying around here. It's not showing up anymore. It's not there. There's nothing to see, Ma. So, look, right now, what's up, Axonometry? I'm just going to wait till the noise stops there, folks. I just got on live, and it's, you might hear a little noise in the background. Mama's doing some stuff. Bill, can you say why no deal? Trump seems like it. Because we've heard this before. We've heard this same thing before. And really, it's an ultimatum that the Iranians have to agree to. It's not even a deal. They have to agree to our specific points. Do you think Iran is going to agree to it? Honestly? Do you honestly think they're going to agree to anything? I don't think so. Now, like I said, anything is possible, right? Anything is possible. I'm not going to sit here and say it can happen. That would be foolish. It would be. Is there a space there? Because it looks like there's a space. No, I don't want to do that. Looks like there's a little space on the screen. Oh, yeah, there is. Okay. Look, we're all trying to sit here and guess and assume things. I hate to say it, but we all just gotta be patient and just see how this plays out. It's really, and I hate to say that, but that's where we're at. We just have to see how all this plays out. We can guess, we can speculate, we can assume, we could do this. It's almost, it's like a cycle. And yes, the unpredictability. Joe, I agree with you. I agree with most of what everybody saying in chat. Let's just say this meeting occurs in Turkey. I think this is it. I think this is it. If the answer comes back from Witkoff, there's the deal. They don't want to negotiate. The worst thing I could hear. Excuse me, Mom, please.
What am I doing?
I hear you with the dog. Anyway, the worst thing that I could see happening is that they say that future negotiations are agreed upon to extend it even further and further. I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if we hear that sometime this week, if there's a meeting in Turkey. They've agreed to extend the talks and negotiations. And that could happen. I'm just saying it could happen. They could come out and say Iran has not agreed to the terms. Because a lot of people that are pro-regime think that Iran hold the cards. They don't hold the cards here. Unless the United States is trying to find an off-ramp and they compromise their position, which I don't see the president doing. But you never know. Maybe they give in a little bit on some of the specific points. I don't know. Before I heard they need to cap their missile program. Do you see the Iranians capping their missile program? Matter of fact, they're rebuilding the nuclear facilities that were hit by Midnight Hammer. There's satellite imagery that proves that. Does that show somebody who's willing to give up their nuclear program? Really? Even a Fox News reporter asked, I can't remember who she was talking to. She was talking to someone. Do you realize there's satellite imagery showing that they're rebuilding Fordow and all those other sites that were hit? Really? Does that look like... Alexa, stop. Does that look like someone who wants to stop their nuclear program? They're like ants trying to rebuild everything. No. I'm going to tell you. It's to the point... I pray that there's no noise here, folks. I'm at the point where... Alexa, stop. Why are we negotiating with them? We know their pattern. They stall, then they come back, they don't agree, they stall. Meanwhile, they provoke with their rhetoric. And I thought if the EU finally got some cojones and labeled the IRGC as a terrorist organization, so we're trying to make a deal with a terrorist organization linked country? I thought we don't make deals with terrorists. Do you trust making a deal with terrorists all of a sudden? Oh God. There's a lot to think about here. Personally, I do not see a deal happening. Oh, did it come back? Yeah, the drone's up there now. The Iranian drone's up by the Gulf of Oman. I'd like to know what you all think. What do you say? Do we even try to negotiate with Iran? Is it possible to negotiate with Iran? Do you think a deal can be made with Iran? And the last one, can you trust and verify a deal with Iran? And I say, hell no. Let's just say they agree to some type of nuclear agreement. How can we verify that? Are we going to have the IAEA go in there? Or the Europeans? Who does that? Do we get to go on the ground in Iran to monitor that? I don't think so. They would never go for that. So where the hell does this go? It's not even feasible. It doesn't even make sense. From a logistical strategic point, it doesn't even make sense. What makes sense is that the president is showing publicly that, yeah, he's still open for negotiation. He'll send Witkoff. He'll do this. Meanwhile, I think he's going in. At least he can say, look, I tried. It's the safe face. That's my opinion. You guys can have all your opinions, and I get it. I think all of this is a ruse. First of all, to stall for time. Gives the carrier time to get there by the weekend. The Nimitz, if that's true. I'm not going to sit here anymore and say it's going to happen next week, the following week. I'm tired of that. I'm done with that. If it happens, it happens. When it happens when it happens. I'm tired of trying to sit here and say it'll be this week, midweek, next week, end of February. I'm so frustrated with that. I'm not gonna try to sit here and speculate and have a fortune cookie to open up or a crystal ball, because none of us. We can try. We can look at Pizza Watch. We can look at all these things. Will it happen on the day of the Super Bowl? But I honestly think he's trying to put out a narrative out there. Look, I sent Witkoff to Turkey. The Arab countries were pressuring us to try to intermediate and try to find some kind of a peaceful solution to this, knowing that there is probably no way that's going to happen. But at least, look, we're trying. We're trying to talk to them. We'll meet them in Turkey. Let's see what they have to say. At least he can say that. If and when it happens, if it happens. Because right now, like I said to Sepp yesterday, I still think we're going to do something. But I think he wants to make sure with a high confidence level as much as you can, because there's so many unknowns and consequences of any action, to have as many pieces in place, including having another strike carrier group, the Nimitz, if that's true, in the region. Meanwhile, in Guam, you got the B-52s. There's pieces being put in place. I just want to see what you guys are saying. And good morning, Red Bull. And no nonsense. Ali, I know that's not a good thing for the people of Iran to hear. To be patient. I see what you're saying. You're not saying that. I'm just saying I can't imagine. I know about the Super Bowl, but let's think about. I'm not. Look, I said that like, my gosh, could you imagine? I'm not saying it's going to happen on the Super Bowl, but what is the overall consensus about the halftime show? Haven't we heard about Bad Bunny and there should be an alternative halftime show, all that? Would you imagine if they did? Like, I could see it like this. I'll even put it like this. I'm just making up a scenario here. I'm not saying this is a complete made up scenario by me, to be clear. So right now it's 10 a.m. That means it's actually 10:07. That means it's what, 6:37 in Iran? Okay, so you know how you have all those pre-shows, the Super Bowl, they start like at 2 o'clock in the afternoon? That would be 10:30 in Iran. So let's shift the time further. Let's go to 4 p.m. You know how all those pre-shows around for the Super Bowl, people are gathering, parties are going on. Even if you don't even care about what's on the screen, it's just to bring people together to party and have the game in the background. You know how it is. Americans, you know how that is. No, he's not going to the Super Bowl. I don't think he'll be going to. They record speeches usually before and they air them. Say 4 p.m. Now that's 12:30 a.m. I'm just making this up now. I'm not. Something's going down in Iran. We don't know about it. And then, what time is the halftime show? Around 8:30? the president says he's going to make a speech to address the nation at 9 p.m. or even at 8 p.m. People are going to bug the hell out. The Super Bowl is on. First of all, you could say goodbye to those Super Bowl whatever ratings they have, because it's probably not going to be that good. That's going to go bye-bye. Everybody's going to tune into the president. The president's going to take that attention from the Super Bowl. Do you see what I'm saying? I would not pass it. I would not say that that's not possible. I don't see it likely. But wouldn't that be an interesting scenario? Think about it. Just think about it. Screw the halftime show. I'll give you my own halftime show. Now, I'm making that up completely. I don't care nothing about the Super Bowl. I'm not even going to... I don't watch it at all. Now, if the Giants, I might watch it. Look, I haven't liked a halftime show since the last rock performer was there. Which I don't even remember when that was. If you look, I don't even want to get into the Super Bowl, but if you look at the performance over time and how ridiculous it's gotten, it's not even like variety. It's not even balanced. It's like a joke. You obviously know who they're targeting for their demographics. Let's just put it that way. It's so obvious. I mean, really, it's so obvious the demographics that they're targeting during the halftime show. That being said, like I said, I just totally made up that scenario. But would you think that that could happen? Anything's possible. The reason I bring this up, anybody's guess about what happens next is valid because we just don't know. Now, like I said, Iran is coming out and saying, wait, hold up, we didn't agree to anything finalized in Turkey yet. No. We did not. And Witkoff is supposed to fly to Israel and meet with security personnel. I wouldn't be surprised. Bibi will be there, the whole deal. But see, this is what they're reporting this morning. The aircraft carrier USS Nimitz has been sent to the Middle East, expected to arrive in a few more days. And the president referred to something about they'll be there in a few days. He wasn't talking about the Lincoln. He might have been referring to this. I cannot confirm this. But this is going around about the Nimitz being sent in now. That would be Carrier Strike Group 2. And that would be in the Mediterranean, if I had to guess. It's not going to be in the Gulf of Oman or the Arabian Sea. That makes no sense. You put it in the Med. That's what I think. Now, they're waiting for all... I will say this. Maybe I will be wrong. I think we're just still moving assets into the region as much as we can to prepare, whether it's offense or defense. And I would not be surprised if something happens. Despite the talk. I mean, you got to see what they're putting on X. Because they refer to X a lot on these posts. You go to Telegram, all those platforms. You got to see the shit that they're putting out about the president. You have no idea. Or maybe you do. They are going after the character, calling him a pedophile. You can't. I'm not even gonna. You can't even imagine what they're doing. I mean, it's so gross and disgusting. But that's what's happening. And I'm just being straight with you. You. If you go to the pro-regime sites, you will see what they're saying. The U.S. Navy is not going to lose ships. Iran doesn't have the tech. Well, you might want to... Who said that? You might want to look carefully at that. There is one, and I would have to go back. There's one that concerns me a lot. This sucker could sink a destroyer. Don't be so sure about that. I have to look it up, and it might take me time. I really don't want to have to look it up. But it penetrates the hull, and then it explodes inside the hull. They have a few like that. And I think the range of it is 2,000 kilometers. This is one to definitely pay attention to. I can't remember the name. It would take freaking time for me to find it, like I said. And would we even underestimate their ability to do so? That would be a foolish mistake to assume that they can't harm the Navy. That would be foolish for us to make that assumption. You have to make sure that that does not happen. Which means they would probably obliterate their Navy and their drone carrier and everything else to pretty much solidify that not happening. That's a good question, Joe. How are the sub hunters doing? It's a good question. Smokey even says, I would not underestimate. I really wish I could find this, but like I said, it would take me time. And if 2C goes live, somebody please let me know. I don't remember which person put all the data out about their missiles. I was like, and it was in depth. But they post so much. But it broke down from intelligence from Israel. That's where it came from. And I was like, holy shit, that one scares me. And I talked about it on a past stream. I said, that missile caught my eye. And they're getting help from the Chinese. And there's all kinds of talk, too, that they're sending them like a energy weapon to take out stuff of ours. A low-cost energy weapon. I was like, here we go. Now we're going to start hearing about this shit. Which, take that for what it's worth. But there's all kinds of chatter out there. I think it was him that put it out. I'm not going to give out his name. It's just so many posts. Let me see if I could find it, because I think you guys should look it up. I can't even recall the name, that's the problem. And this guy posts so much. And I could be here. Okay, I think I found it. I found it. And I'm going to actually try to look it up on here. Okay, this one. I found it. Even the army, this is... I'm reading about it. And they do have them on naval ships. It's over 100 kilometers. That's why we may have backed off a little bit too. I'm just going to share it on the screen. This one, the Abu Mahdi missile. Be careful with this one. This anti-ship missile. Right there. And it's on their ships now. It allows, with the increasing range, allows Iran to project its power much further, complicated with the ability of adversaries to operate near its coastline. It is equipped with cutting-edge technology, including AI-powered guidance, which allows it to perform advanced maneuvering in flight, avoiding radar detection through low-altitude flight patterns and unpredictable course alterations. These features make the missile particularly effective against heavily defended targets such as aircraft carriers and naval vessels equipped with advanced air defense systems. So you want to take a chance on this missile? You want to take a chance? It makes it a formidable tool in Iran's naval arsenal. It can be deployed quickly and efficiently. These launchers can fire multiple missiles at short intervals. So imagine the number of these fuckers coming in. And the power of them is even more, it's scary. I don't know if it's going to get into it. The importance of anti-ship missile capabilities for Iran cannot be overstated, especially in the context of its current strategic environment. And it's talking about the background, about the Gulf. Now, on this one over here, look, this increases deterrence effect, complicating any military planning and making any potential naval engagement in the Persian Gulf a highly risky endeavor. This is not something to play with. This is not something to play with. So, don't say Iran doesn't have anything that we should be concerned about, because they do. They definitely do. It's easy for us to make that assumption. Look at the 12-day, look at this. We're talking about naval. Could you imagine a barrage of these missiles heading toward the carrier or toward destroyers? You better hope you get them all. Because when he gave the details about this missile, this anti-ship missile, this is the most powerful cruise missile in Iran's naval arsenal, capable of disabling or sinking even very large warships, including destroyers. Just saying. So we have to be really, really. We have to be prepared for anything, any response, any retaliation. That's why I emphasize we strike them hard and we strike them first, and we hit their naval assets immediately. Immediately. And anything along the Persian Gulf coastline and the Gulf of Oman coastline in Iran, we have to decimate that. We cannot allow them to fire at our fleet. It's unacceptable. I don't know what anybody else thinks about this, but that ain't no joke. Now I'm just gonna, we do have weapons that have been installed on destroyers, and we do. We don't want to get too much into that because you never know. We do. What the fuck is going on here? Who's knocking? Somebody's knocking? What's going on? Oh, I thought somebody was knocking it. I thought somebody was knocking. I thought somebody was knocking at you doing this. No, I was worried that Mom locked you out. Come on. Package. Anyway, where was I? Let me see what you guys are saying. So many, I'm just scrolling slightly up. So many underestimate Iran's capabilities. Iran have had a lot of shipments from China. Oh, yes. See the dog's going crazy. Oh, yeah. A lot. All that. Oh, that's just bong. It would be first of many first targets. Oh yeah, Joe. Do you really think that the United States don't have the solution for that missile? Forget about a solution. Of course they got countermeasures, but you better be sure that you get every one of them. Do you think 95% is acceptable in a scenario like that? Are you willing to take that chance? Are we so sure that they're going to intercept all of them? God forbid one of our ships get hit. Then what? You know, could you imagine President Trump's reaction then? I mean, God forbid. I'm not going to make assumptions saying, and you don't think we have everything to countermeasure that? Yes, definitely. But you better be damn sure that you're going to intercept them all. Because one hits, it's going to be devastating. Just one. I'm not saying it'll sink the carrier, but it's going to kill or injure many. You want that? I don't want that. I'm not taking chances. I'm not making assumptions that, yeah, we'll intercept them all. We've got the weapons to do it. We got secret stuff. We got... Oh, hell no. Even their UAVs are armed to the teeth. They make hundreds per day. They've got thousands, swarm. Now that we might, believe it or not, with the microwave technology, interception, shutting them down, that's a different thing with the UAVs. That's a different thing, but they still could send thousands of swarms. Or hundreds at least. A swarm, you're going to have to get them all. What was the rate of success getting their drones as they were heading from, and that's a longer distance, from Iran to Israel? Pretty high, right? Was it perfect? Was it? And that's going from a much longer distance. You're talking about, look at the shorter distance. You don't have much time to intercept them. This is short range, mid-range. This is not, they take hours to get to. What if they launched a hypersonic missile toward the carrier? Or 2? Or 5? I mean, you have to think about, everybody thinks that Iran is a walkover. They can do a lot of damage. Now, they're going to get wiped. We know that. They're going to get wiped. Regardless. If they did something, I wouldn't even, like, we hear Putin talking about, and I hate to say it. You hear Putin talking about it, tactical nukes. If they were to do some significant damage to us, I don't know what the president would do. He said it, they'll be wiped off the face of the earth. But God forbid, the people of Iran, but my gosh, I mean, anything is possible. I'm not saying that would happen. So, and we do have energy weapons, and some of them have been installed on ships. Yeah, that's right. And we do have energy weapons. The Venezuelan and Cubans find out. This is not Venezuela, by the way. Do not compare Venezuela with Iran. Absolutely not. Going in Caracas is one thing. Going into the country, which is huge, Iran, is a whole different ballgame. Because you're not just going to fly into Caracas and do this little, it's not a little, do this little thing here. This is on a much, 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 much larger scale. With a lot more to be concerned about. Oh, here we go. What is it, Mom?
What happened to the $100 that you sent me?
Yeah, it's over there. We'll talk. It's in your little jar candle. Over there. It's over there.
My little...
Yes, it's over there. Close the door, please. Thanks. The deal, there's supposed to be some kind of a meeting in Turkey, but it's not finalized and confirmed. At least that's what the Iranians are saying. They say we have it. That it has not been finalized.
Get it for me, okay?
Yeah, I'll get it for you, Mom. See you later. Um, check your emails. Okay. I'll check it right now. We checked it yesterday. I'll check it again now. So, all of us can make assumptions and opinions and all that, but I know our military isn't going to make an assumption or an opinion. They're going to assess the situation, and they know it's a serious threat. Oh, they know. I'm checking now. And is there any word that Tusi's going live? Okay, I see. I see. Who was that? Somebody in the chat. I'm going to reach out in a second. I apologize if any noise is happening in the background, folks. I'm just trying to do some stuff here. Okay. Let's see. Email. Oh, Mom, please. All right. I got to do something quick. I see what someone sent me. And I'm sure I'll let Sep know. In a second. I will definitely check out what somebody sent me. PW. I'll say it as PW. I thank you for that. Where it can be, I can live stream to it. If that person's in chat, you know who I'm referring to. Oh, okay. Now I see what you're sending me. The images from earlier. Yes, I did notice that. To the person that said check your email, I see it. And thank you. That's the one. So this is interesting that someone made this assumption with that the way the fleet is. And pretty much that might be a really good guess, because that thing was going around a certain area, the drone. I'm going to share this. This is not confirmed, but I did follow the drone, and it looks like it was going around something, and it very possibly could be that. Possibly. So the person who sent me the photos, we appreciate it, Sep and I, and thank you for keeping an eye out. You know who you are. Like I said, we keep everybody's privacy, confidentiality. We're not going to spill who's who. Shavit Shah, yes. What's up, Marco? So thank you for sending the emails. Also, thank you to all those that are supporting Sep and I. All the kind words. My love goes to all of you. Oh, let me just do this quick. And let me just close that door first. I'll be right back. Before I show you something, is Tusi going live anytime soon? Does anybody know? Sep will show up. He knows I'm live if he's awake. I don't want to bother him because he works. I did some work this morning. I don't want to bother him because I don't know if he slept. I try not. He'll come here if he knows I'm live. He'll show up in the chat and say, "Bill, bring me on." I don't want to bother him. Let me see if he's on Teams. Nah, he's not on Teams right now, so he may not be active. The guy hasn't slept in days, and he's super stressed. You guys know that from yesterday. Super stressed. And what's up, Cluster, and all those people in chat? I can try to call him, but I want to see if Tusi goes live. I usually take a break to watch Tusi, and then I come back later with him. He was live 35 minutes ago, or he's not. What was Tusi discussing? You can hear a buzzing sound in the background. Yeah, one of my fans, I might have to swap out one of my fans. It's annoying me too. But you know what that means, right? I'm going to have to because I built that computer. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to take everything off, disconnect all those wires, order a new fan, and swap it out. And now is not the time to do that. But that's coming. I tried everything to clean them. The bearings, they start to make that whiny sound. You could try to spray them with a little oil. I'm not going to get into that whole process, but yes, I hear it too. He didn't talk about Iran? Yeah, there's a lot going on, and I'm not going to get into details. A lot of the propaganda coming from the regime side, attacking the president, Elon, Epstein related stuff. I'm not going there. But they're doing a lot of it. It's all over the place. That's all they're pushing now. And going after MAGA supporters too. They're going after MAGA supporters, so you guys know that. Yeah, he was probably talking. He speaks about that often, about the politics in the UK. I have 6 fans. It's 1. I have 6. So it should be okay. But the problem is, I'm going to have to take that apart. And if you notice, the sound comes, it's whining. But you guys don't understand. And I'm going to get off topic, and then I got to play the new mariachi video. There's a new mariachi video. Alexa, brighten light.
Okay.
So there's the computer right there. See it? Alexa, dim living room light.
Okay.
I cannot tell you how much stuff I put in that computer, including that cooler on the processor. See it? You can't really see. See that how it's bright in the middle? It has lights on it. That's on the processor. But do you see all those wires? Do you know how much stuff is connected to this desktop? It's insane. Insane. And to get, because it could also be, I may have to change that cooler, the liquid cooler that goes to the processor. Because if I'm going to change that fan, I might as well change that, because that's going to go too. This is 4 years old now. 5 years old. It's got an M.2 card. I may add another one. Since I'm opening it up, it's time for maybe an upgrade for some of the things in there. But yeah, it's going to be fun to take that shit apart. and get to do what I got to do there. And it's going to take time. It's going to take a few hours. And I got to order the parts. But see how the noise whines? You hear it? So that's going to be a mission. And it's not a mission I want to undergo right now because of the timing of things going on. You know what I mean? So, and I've got air. I was trying to spray it, and then I took the cover off. I tried to spray it with. I got to go in there. I got to go in. And to go in, it has to be done properly. Non-static. You guys know, if you know how to build a computer, you know what I'm talking about. It's got to be done right. That is a pain. Because it's gonna shut me down for at minimum a half a day. Which I don't want to do right now because the timing is not right. I'll do it. I'll deal with the noise for a couple of weeks. You know what I mean? Now is not the time. Because I can't order parts really until I go in there, because I could try to lubricate it with this special oil. I could try. But I think the bearings are wearing. That's a problem. All right, enough of that talk. Yeah, I don't want to, I will replace the fan. I don't want to put like a makeshift. I have to fix it. With me, I got to fix it. Anyway, let's get back. So that's that noise that people are hearing. So they came up with the new mariachi video. You know, the last one with the drones? Well, they got a new one. Yeah, armed drones is correct, Joe. They are armed. And they're trying to get us to do something about that drone. They are pushing the envelope. They are really pushing it with that. Now you can see the drone is going back. They are really pushing the envelope here. They would love us to shoot that down. Okay, so there you go. Remember that picture that somebody shared with me? Look where it's going around. Now, are we to read it too much into that? But are they seeing something here, or as close as they get here, it's here? I don't know. Because that could just be them going back. Actually, it came this way, went out to here, and then went this way, and now it's going back. So I do not see the Overlord, which turns to X, a bunch of X's. It must have landed already. The Poseidons were out there. You can see there's quite a bit of air traffic to be expected. And I can lower my microphone down a little bit, but I can put it a little closer so maybe you hear less of that noise. Not much.
Split personality.
Now she's coming here to talk about that.
It's like an addict.
Okay, Mom. I'm busy right now. I'm live. So I'm not seeing much activity that we could see. Where is that C-17 going? Anyway, do you guys think? I want to see a question here. Are they testing their air defense systems? Let me ask you a question. Do you think if there were a meeting coming up in Turkey that we would do something before that meeting? Because he has said that in the past. We can still act and the meeting would occur afterwards. He has made references to that in the past. Do you think he would do something first and then the meeting, or do we wait for this alleged meeting in Turkey first and then decide? Because that's pretty much going to be it. Unless, like I said, we've agreed to have further negotiations next week or 2 weeks from now. Oh. What do you guys think? What? I haven't seen you. I hope you're okay. Temsa, I haven't seen you. Are you okay? Well, don't ask me if everything's good. Is everything good with you? We haven't seen you. We've been worried about you in Iran. Are you okay? Yeah, if we hit it, would lean more toward us. No meeting. Iran has not confirmed. They said it hasn't been finalized that there was going to be a meeting in Turkey. Helmet, if you're hearing something else, please let me know. I may have to look this up. But before I do that, this way I could mute, because there's some stuff going on in the background. I want you guys to look at the new mariachi video. Check this out. I'm going to try to lower the mic too as much as possible and bring it as close as possible so you don't hear that background sound as much as possible. All right. And you'll hear other stuff in the background too, folks. And I apologize. All right. Hold on. Let me see what's going on here. I downloaded it earlier. So this is the new Mariachi Iran. It's so freaking, it looks like I say, it looks like a bad game show, but it's real. Totally propaganda. And you see the people, you see them like sitting there like they're game show hosts. Like on a panel. It looks like something out of if you guys remember the Gong Show, it kind of reminds me of, as crazy as, it reminds me of the Gong Show. It's so retarded. It's like something you would see from the 70s, let alone now. I'm going to share it. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Okay, I think... I don't know if it's this one. Let me confirm. I don't know which screen it's going to pop on. Oh, that's it. Is it? Yeah. No, that's the drone one. Okay, that's the drone one. Hold on. The mariachi music's going to start right off. What's up, Oreo? Hold on. I'm being blocked by something on that screen. Again, I apologize for the noise in the background, and it is what it is, like they say. It is what it is. All right, I'm going to mute now.
امریکا تو دهنی خورده و جواب قلدریشو دیده. بار اول کی بوده؟ بار دوم کی بوده؟
ایران.
سر به سر کی دیگه نباید بذاره؟
ایران.
آقا داره میره بالا. لا حول ولا قوة الا بالله. وای. که وقتی میگن خیبر شکن تو اولین تستش یه چادر 6 نفر رو زده، وایزمن واسش کاری نداره بخواد بخوابونتش. موقعی که از زمین بلند شد، از تاد رد شد، از پاتریوت رد شد، از گنبد آهنین رد شد و رفت نشست تو اون نقطه‌ای که بهش گفته بود. تو میدون و مستندا رو که نگاه میکنی و مصاحبه‌ها رو نگاه میکنی، اقرار میکنن که اسرائیل خیلی نوب بوده. حالا سر این خاکه با کسی تعارف نداری. چه میخواد؟ سگ هار منطقه اسرائیل باشه، چه اربابش امریکا باشه.
در جنگ ز دست آمد و از سپر افتاد، در جان و دل لشکریان این خبر افتاد. تا بود علی بوده و تا هست علی هست بال علی هر که در افتاد.
فقط 2 بار امریکا تو دهنی خورده و جواب قلدریشو دیده.
And we're trying to negotiate with these fucks? Really? These are the same people we want to negotiate with? Are you crazy? Really? That's why I say hell no. It's not going to happen. It's fluster, it's bluster, it's bullshit. I mean, that's just cray-cray in itself. And the mariachi music was played a little bit. You heard it? I love it. Right? These came off China planes. Be careful, Temsub. Please be careful. VPN is completely blocked. Almost every secure VPN is completely blocked. Wow. Vietnam? I wasn't even born for Vietnam. You can't. You're comparing Vietnam to now? Exactly. That's what scares me. If Obama would negotiate, that's what scares me in a way, because I don't think the president wants to be in, like I said this 1,000 times. You really think the president wants his name to be mentioned in the same breath as Obama? I don't think so. No way. Because even Lindsay's saying it. You see what Lindsay says. You know how he talks. So, you know, you see what Lindsay said. The president definitely got word of what Lindsay said. And he probably had a talk with Lindsay. I would think. I wouldn't let that shit stand. If I'm the president with Lindsay. Lindsay, can you just shut up already? Stop talking about it. Can I just deal with this situation? Let me deal with this. Don't be talking in the background and stirring shit up and applying pressure to me with your rhetoric. I understand your point. I get it. That's enough. I mean, every time he posts shit like that, you know, is it doing it for the best of the country or for Lindsay or for the president? You know what I'm saying? And that's just my opinion. You guys, whatever, but I think he needs to back off a little. And if I were the president or anyone in his staff, I would definitely have a talk with Lindsay. That's just my opinion. Because he said some... I don't know if there's a clip of it. I don't know if he has a clip on it on his own thing. Rick Scott. Senator Rick Scott just posted this 30 minutes ago. Iran is teetering. The regime is terrified and the people are demanding freedom. The United States must apply maximum pressure. The Ayatollah's time is up. Rick Scott is calling for regime change with that statement. The Ayatollah's time is up. Or the maximum pressure saying that if he doesn't come to a deal right now, he's done. You could interpret that different ways. That's what Rick Scott just posted 30 minutes ago. His time is up. The Ayatollah time's up. In other words, Iran is teetering, the regime is terrified, and the people are demanding freedom. They're not in a position of strength here. They're not, because despite whatever happens, I mean, the economy's a wreck. You know, there's so many issues going on in Iran in itself. It's not like this is going to disappear if there were miraculously a deal made. It's not like they're not going to still have many internal problems, like some serious problems. But Rick Scott put that. That's what he posted. And, you know, he's got a background in the military. Let's see. This is his post 32 minutes ago. The United States must apply maximum pressure. The Ayatollah's time is up. You can interpret that however you want, but that's what Senator Rick Scott posted. You know what I'm saying? And you can only imagine, if he's saying that publicly, what's going on behind the scenes. Because they're all trying to get in, the president's ear right now on this. And it's funny how Lindsay reposted what Rick Scott said 21 minutes ago. He also reposted what Mark Levin, a conservative talk show host, and he shared this and he said spot on. Okay? Lindsay. This is Lindsay reposting Mark Levin's post. Let's not save this medieval Iranian terror regime with self-defeating and ultimately suicidal negotiations and diplomacy. America first means the end of mass-murdering fundamentalist regime and its relentless religious and ideological pursuit of nuclear weapons and intercontinental delivery systems to exterminate the American people. They just tested an ICBM over towards Siberia, what, a week ago? I apologize for the noise in the background. Okay. Let me continue. Why would we reach such... Everybody has to leave the room, please. Why would we risk such an outcome with a barbarous and illegitimate regime that has committed its resources for an entire existence to mass genocide? A paper agreement of any kind with the supreme leader isn't worth the paper it's written on. I agree with this. And everyone knows it. I agree. It wouldn't change the Islamic mindset, just play into strategic and tactical intentions, which it openly repeats and declares. That's exactly, I feel the same way. I agree with this. You may not, I agree with this. Thank God we have the wherewithal to defeat this evil today. And if we do not, under the delusion of peace in our time, our children will be paying a great price for our failure. As we, the poor souls in Iran, as will the poor souls of Iran, who are being butchered by the tens of thousands in real time. Delay means death to these wonderful people. Exactly. Exactly. Let's end this. Now is the time. The stars are aligned. America is the only country that can do it, given most of what the West has already failed its own citizens. The continent of Europe has been largely conquered by the Islamists and is flailing, if not frozen, unwilling, if not incapable of their own domestic self-defense. President Trump is the only leader that can do this. So that was Mark Levin. And Lindsay reposted it and said spot on. You know how Lindsay... Oh my God. See? He put spot on. And I'll be back because I have to clear the room out because this can't go on for too much longer. Now, I don't know, like I said, you guys have your own opinions and I respect it. What's going on here now? Of course we have nukes. What are you guys writing about? I saw something. It is a decoy. I believe it is a decoy too, Tamsa. But I know something is going to happen. When? I don't. But it's going to happen. I've been saying that. But not under the week because of Wall Street. I agree with that too. I think a lot of people would say that about the market. Oh, is a reference to the video? Please don't speak when you don't know the whole story. And that's addressed to Tammy. I don't know what I missed it, whatever was going on. B2 in air now in news, Jordan. Can be confirmed? Is that confirmed? Where? What news source? Al Jazeera? I'm gonna look up Al Jazeera. Is it on their broadcast or is it a post? I'm looking. I'm not seeing anything. On Al Jazeera English, I'm not seeing anything. The Qatar-controlled network, I don't see anything. You might... I'm not seeing anything on Al Jazeera English. I'm not going to go to the Persian one because I can't read that. I'm just going to go... I'm curious if they're saying anything on their program.
I'm Cyril Vanier.
It's the top of the hour.
Live from Doha. Also coming up, a source tells Al Jazeera that Iran and the U.S. will hold talks in the coming days in a bid to ease a tense standoff and avert war. Syrian government forces
It's the top of the hour.
areas formerly held by Kurdish fighters for nearly a decade, advancing a deal to have them integrate into the army.
We're listening to Al Jazeera English.
And celebrations in Costa Rica after a conservative frontrunner claims victory in Sunday's presidential election. Laura Fernandez is promising to crack down on crime.
It's the top of the hour. They were mentioning it.
It is the first day of the reopening of the Rafah crossing between Gaza and Egypt after nearly 2 years. And so,
if that was breaking and they were going to announce it, that dude looks familiar. That reporter that's hosting that show right now looks very familiar. I don't know where I've seen him from. So I'm not seeing anything there about this. Only matter of time. I agree with that. I tell Seth that all the time. It's not an if, it's a matter of when. I agree with that. Hello, Ada, I mean, Charles. I can't find anything either. Yeah, in the mid February, that was the plan. Whoever wrote about the joint drill, yeah. I'm not seeing anything confirming any B2 movement. Whoever said that, Smokey, I agree with you. Do you think they are waiting for the solar activity that is affecting the Earth? The guys that were on with us yesterday mentioned that. And there was, because I looked it up on Space Weather. I don't know if they're holding talks. Sources, I never trust anything when they say, sources say, because if you look at what the Iranians are saying, it has not been finalized that they're going to meet. I don't buy, you can't trust, I have to say it. You can't trust anything that, forget about it, I'm not looking at mainstream media. You really can't trust anything you see because it's a narrative coming from this side and this side. It's almost like a psyop chess game. You know what I mean? Forget, this isn't about videos now coming out of Iran. This is about the rhetoric. At the same time they're saying they're going to meet, you have so much harsh rhetoric coming from Iran. I mean, even Rick Scott, the time is over. How you told the time's up. I mean, even on our side, it may be a little bit more politically correct in the way they use the phrasing, not like Iran. You know, the rhetoric coming from Iran is on steroids compared. But the drone is not there now. Like I said, I hope I'm not getting sick. Like I said, you got to take everything with a grain of salt. Everything. Because it's also like feeling it out. And I'm actually going to go to that right now. But I'm not seeing anything about B2s at all. And Al Jazeera is run and funded by Qatar. I believe it's Qatar. Eight minutes ago, Iran International put this out. And it's Iran International article. We are alert and prepared for every scenario. Ben Netanyahu said during a session of the Knesset on Monday. Whoever attacks us will face unbearable consequences. He's repeating what he said in the past. Pretty much the same thing. So that's not like new. He re-emphasized it. Obviously, he's going to say that. And I will not show you. I will not show you what the propaganda coming. Reza Pahlavi put something out an hour ago. This is what Pahlavi put out an hour ago. Iranians abroad and freedom-loving people all around the world. February 14th is the global day of action in solidarity with Iran's Lion and Sun revolution, a day to take to the streets and compel the international community to take urgent practical steps in supporting the Iranian people. Our 6 demands are clear. 1. Dismantle the regime's machinery of repression and protect the people of Iran. Cut off the regime's financial lifelines in full. What did we talk about? Not go after the oil fields, but take out their infrastructure for their oil. Ports, refinery, that kind. Don't remember what it was like to put out the oil fires. Ensure free internet and communications for the people of Iran. Good luck with that. Expel the regime's diplomats and prosecute its criminals. They need to face justice. Immediate release of all political prisoners. I hope that's still on the table as part of our demands. Prepare to recognize a legitimate transitional government to lead Iran toward democracy. And these are the different places. I heard there was over 1,000 people that gathered for a pro rally in Canada. I don't know if it was in Toronto, but I believe it was. The Islamic the Islamic Republic's occupying rule has tried to break our nation's will through massacre and brutal violence. It has failed. These invading terrorists, alien to Iran, have slaughtered tens of thousands of brave Iranians and cut off the internet to hide their crimes. Yet the people of Iran still stand before bullets, raising the cry of freedom and love of country. The era of fear is over. The era of freedom is near. Iranians have risen. To those of you who believe in Iran's freedom on Saturday, February 14th, rise in solidarity with the people of Iran. Your solidarity matters. When we stand united, governments are compelled to listen. History remember those who stood with the Iranian people. So you could see it's a global action. Not necessarily signaling the people of Iran, but you're going to see across the global day, external day, to show the support of the people of Iran. And he's look at this. He's talking about it here again. And of course it's translated from Persian. And there you go. So that was 1 hour ago, February 14th. Toronto, Munich, LA. Let's see if anything else. 1 hour ago. That's in Persian. And that's it. Recent from Pahlavi. Now, getting back to the other thing, I'm not even putting their propaganda, staying away from that, because it's so disgusting. You have no idea. You guys can look on X yourselves. I'm not sharing it. It is ugly. You guys have no idea how fucking ugly it is. You don't even want to know. You got to go look it up yourself. It's that alone. The president, if he's seen for himself how they're absolutely going after him, defaming his character and everything else, that would set him off. I hope he's not looking at what's going on X. I'm telling you, maybe his people are like making sure he doesn't, because it's so bad. I'm not kidding. And they are spamming X. They are spamming X. They're going crazy on X. And there's a reason. And there's a reason. So, like I said, I don't want to share this because I don't want to be part of their propaganda arm. You know what I mean? It's total disrespect. And that just pisses me off more to see what I'm saying. And of course, you know how I feel about the people of Iran and the suffering and horrific things that are going on. But when I'm an American, and when you target my president and you target that just adds to my anger. Because now it's like with Sepp, you have empathy. You can't, as a human being, what has happened in Iran and is still going on in Iran is so horrific and heinous and evil. That's that's the main thing that why I got involved with this. But when I see this shit as an American attacking the president, that just gets me other emotions going. But that's what it is. It's rage baiting. It's definitely rage baiting. And it is just sick. Because that's all they're doing now. It's all over the place. I'm scrolling and it's all over the place. It's so crazy. Now what? Let me see. And they even made an account that is pro-Iranian people by name. They put one word to separate it because they know so many people are going to see that X account. They made a similar X account excluding one word, thinking that that's the same one. It's crazy what they're doing. I'm telling you, it's crazy. This was 48 minutes ago. An Iranian official, I hate when they say they don't tell you who, probably to protect their source. I don't like when they say sources or an official said this or that. I hate that. But I'm going to read it anyway. An Iranian official told Reuters, so Reuters must have confirmed this, that Tehran may transfer its highly enriched uranium out of the country and halt enrichment as part of an agreement that would also lead to the lifting of economic sanctions. Really? Oh, hell no. Before that even happens, we're going to have to confirm that that's even the case. That would take a while, months, if not who knows how. You're going to need people on the ground to verify that. That is bullshit. An Iranian official told Reuters this. You believe that? Do you guys believe that? Hell no. Yeah, Al Jazeera, but remember who Al Jazeera represents? It's Qatar. Qatar was the one that's trying to help be intermediaries to negotiate something. You got to remember who runs Al Jazeera. Oh shit. I don't know if this is true. Ukraine. It's in the pro-Iranian people. I'll just read it because I don't want to share it. Russian Air Force has moved the number of Tu-95 MS ALCM strategic bombers from Ukrainka Air Base in the far east of the country to Olenia and Engels Air Bases in the west. Large-scale strikes on Ukraine are expected soon. We'll see if that happens. It looks very similar to a B-52. And this was 2 hours ago, and I tried to confirm it, and I did not see where he said it. This was 2 hours ago. Minutes ago, an influential U.S. Senator Graham on Iran. War is coming. I could not confirm that. I tried to see him say that. I did not see Lindsay say that. War is coming. I can't confirm that. Good morning, Muhammad. And Ada and John and Charles and everybody that's in that chat right now. Brian, Young, Anthony, another drone up. Yep, I see it. Oh, it's actually the one. It just came back up on Flight Radar. It's the same one. It came down, went this way, and then went back up. You could see. Our drone landed probably hours ago because we had it up, the Triton. I wouldn't be surprised there's a Poseidon. And there's probably a lot going on that we just don't see. What is that? You know what I mean? There's a lot going on that we just can't see. I'm keeping an eye on the air traffic because it is getting dark now. You could see it. Alexa, what time is it in Iran?
It's 7:47 p.m. in Iran right now.
It's almost 8 p.m. What is that? The UK? Why would they have that drone there? You think? Why is it over Jordan now? Are they keeping an eye on something going on in Syria? Good question. What is Glex? German. C-17. More C-17s. C-30. tanker. I'm watching out for those golds. The Pegasus tankers. Okay, we'll keep an eye. And everybody else, keep an eye. If you got anything to share, please let me know. Well, that's over Afghanistan? Who is that? Qatar. Yeah, but the drone is here. The Iranian drone. Right there. I'll keep it highlighted, but I want to see more of the region. Like that. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. Access reporting U.S. and Iran talks planned by Friday in Turkey. Tycho, stop. Okay, again. The word was that the Nimitz carrier group is a few days away from the Middle East. And I get it. What is the president waiting for? To have everything he thinks that is imaginably necessary. Not even he, but the military is saying, Mr. President, sir, we would recommend that you wait until we have all our assets in position, whether it's offense or defense. And we're sending in another strike carrier group to the region. Do you know what I mean? They're really getting as much as they can in preparation. Because remember, it's not about the offense. It's also about protecting our bases, our personnel, Navy. Allies are preparing themselves for defensive countermeasures. Jordan, Israel. So they got to do whatever they can. Just saying it. Anyone... C-17 transfer, yes. Yeah, I mean, but Netanyahu's not saying much other than the typical stuff he would say. Israel is prepared. If they're attacked, they're going to unleash unholy hell on Iran. Pretty much. They're never before seeing what would happen. That kind of scares me too, because Israel has quite an arsenal too. This is going to be massive. That's what shock and awe on steroids. Shock and awe on steroids. Think of it that way. That's what I think. Not until everything's in place. I'm telling you. I know Iranians don't want to hear that. I get it. SEP is going crazy. And I bet you a lot of people, Iranian, whether internally or externally, are like, what is going on? When are you going to step in and help us? And I understand that. I guarantee you many of us, if not all of us, understand that. Day by day, hour by hour passes. People suffer. Because they're not stopping. Whatever's going in their prisons, on the streets, in the people's homes, hospitals, you name it, it's still ongoing. If they thought that things quieted down, the internet would be back completely. You know what I mean? No. So trust me, yep. He's definitely watching this deal. There was even a statement that the Israelis made that they don't think that a deal is possible. I read that earlier. Jericho goes to sea for the first time for testing. I know there was a bunch of carriers that were under maintenance because we have 11. The Nimitz was planned to be decommissioned, but that ain't happening. Not right now. I don't believe anything's happening right now, but you never know because, again, the president did say in the past, well, we can strike and then have meetings afterwards. Remember when he said that? Oh, he's going on a Twitter rampage, Eugene. Read between the words from Bibi. Iran is not going to agree to anything, not to the demands that we're offering. They can talk a lot of talk, because they do that all the time. They're not going to agree to this. Everything we hear about is nuclear, nuclear, nuclear. There's other stuff on that table. I mean, I can show you. Everybody's focused on the nuclear. It's not just about the nuclear. But that's what the focus is. It's not. And I'm seeing it too by Reuters, what somebody put in chat. That's what Reuters is reporting. And that would drive many crazy just to see that. Possible nuclear deal. Well, what about everything else? Netanyahu's saying, well, what about the missiles? The people of Iran is, what about us? What about the proxies' money? What about the regime staying intact? What? Because this is focused on possible nuclear deal. Says nothing about the other things. The president's been calling them to make a deal. The official said, what official? The meeting is to hear what they have to say. Who has to say? The Iranians? An Iranian firm said officials earlier, Tehran was weighing the terms. See, they were weighing the terms for resuming talks with the United States soon, after both sides signaled readiness to revive diplomacy. Friday planned meeting was reported by Axios. So we're hearing this as like it says here. This is like making it like definitive that they're gonna meet. But from the Iranian side, they have not said they have agreed to any of this yet. So there's mixed signals going on here, even with that. Let me see if I could find something. Because I read contradicting things coming from the other side. And a lot of people are now reporting the Axios thing on X. It's all over the place. Oh, here's a little interesting little tidbit. Okay. Here's the key. Let me read this to you. Can you please close that door? We can hear your conversation. Thank you.
God, please take me to.
All right, so it says here, the United States and Iran will hold talks on the nuclear program on Friday in Istanbul. This was reported by Axios. Turkey, Egypt, and Qatar will act as mediators. The parties have different approaches to the agenda. The U.S. intends to discuss not only the nuclear program, but also Iran's missile policy and its role in the region, proxies, while the Iranian side wants to limit the discussion to nuclear issues only. Dead. That's dead right there. I was wondering about that. They only want to talk about the nuclear part. They don't want to talk about the missile program. They don't want to talk about the proxy money. They don't want to talk about the people that are being held captive and prisoner. They don't want to talk about that. That's not gonna. It's a non-starter right there. Not if they only want to talk nuclear. Not the other stuff. That's off the table. It's not gonna happen. Let me close that door because we could hear a conversation. That is a non-starter right there. Just that alone, that's a non-starter. They only want to talk nuclear. Not happening. That's not what we do you understand? Exactly, it says it, the proxies. Because that you have to also its role in the region. That's the proxies. That's referring to the proxy part. Also its role in the region. Yeah, in the region, the proxies. It's not happening. This deal is not going to happen. It's not just about nuclear. And I was concerned about that because all we heard is nuclear, 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 nuclear. No. This is like the president, remember, they're talking to us. All right, we're going to go there. We're going to listen to them. This is like their last chance, in my opinion. This is it. This is it. And remember, people say Friday. Why Friday? It gives us time to put the Nimitz closer to position. Do it on Friday. Watch what happens Sunday morning. Theoretically. As soon as the president gets word that, because he ain't going to listen to that shit. He's not going to say, oh, because everybody, he knows this. They're stalling. They're stalling for time. You think the president is naive? Stupid? Oh, they're stalling. No. This is what the message was sent through Qatar to them. We'll listen. You know what we're asking for. You're going to say nuclear, nuclear, nuclear only. No. It has to do with your missile program. Because remember, Bibi and Trump discussed this about a month ago in the White House. Because if it was up to Netanyahu, he would have hit Iran already over that. This is about more than just nuclear. And I said that for the last few days, a little concerned we hear nuclear, nuclear, nuclear. No, it's more than that. It's more than that. And do you trust Turkey? I don't trust Turkey. Turkish government officials strongly oppose war in the region. I'm fed up with this. I really am with this Turkey shit. It's like, it's all over X, by the way. And meanwhile, C-14 Israel, just 20-something minutes ago. This is literally minutes ago. Khamenei, Israel and U.S. are responsible for protests in Iran. Are we just supposed to accept this rhetoric? And negotiate with these fucks? I mean, really? Supreme Leader directly accuses Israel and the United States of orchestrating the anti-regime protests sweeping the country. We're going to have to look at what he's posting. Does this not make one person's, I don't care if you're Iranian, American, or whatever, just like cringe? It's cringy. It really is. It's fucking cringy. You're going to negotiate with them? I hope Fox News, Newsmax, somebody, news, I don't care who it is, they have to make the president aware of what is being said behind the scenes. I'm going to go to this. I want to check it out. Somebody mentioned in the chat that he's going crazy posting shit now. And they're saying, by the way, that they're denying that he's in hiding. But just so you know, they're denying that. All of a sudden, they're denying it. Oh, God. He is posting like crazy. He is. Want to see just like one? Look at this. He's posting all kinds of cray-cray shit right now. No science, no research. So does this sound like somebody who's willing to give up their nuclear program? Really? The goal of the recent sedition was to disrupt the country's security. When security is gone, nothing is left. When there's no security, there's no production, no schools, no research, no scientific knowledge, and no progress. Look at this. This is supposed to be somebody that we're supposed to be fucking working with. 37 minutes ago. Another feature of the sedition was that those ringleaders trained by the U.S. and Zionists were given the task of engineered killings. Engineered killings. They even attacked the foot soldiers whom they themselves had drawn into the field with their propaganda, striking them from behind. Look at this. Is who we're supposed to negotiate with? I mean, fucking seriously? I hate to curse, but really? Really? Look at him. He's going crazy. The sedition resembled a coup attempt which was suppressed. But why call it a coup attempt? Because the goal was to destroy the centers effective in the country's governance. They attacked the police, IRGC bases, government institutions, and banks. The shopkeepers did have grievances, and their demands were logical and justified. So he's giving them a little bit. But the rioters hid behind their peaceful protests. But the shopkeepers understood what was happening. As soon as they saw that these were leading to riots, they separated themselves. And look, he's going crazy. The law enforcement forces, the Basij, and the IRGC carried out their duties in full. But it was the people themselves who trampled the fire of sedition into ash. The recent sedition wasn't the first, nor will it be the last. After all, we're a country of friction with the interests of global aggressors. How long will this continue? Until the Iranian government reaches a point where the enemy is left hopeless. And we will reach that point. Fuck negotiating with them. Look what the Ayatollah is saying. And we're trying to negotiate with them? To me, that's a ploy. It's all a game. The president knows this. He's just trying to show that he tried to negotiate, gave him a shot, then it's bang bang time. I'm telling you. I think I'm right. I may be proven wrong, but I think I'm right. When we say, look at he's going crazy with his tweets. He's even saying, I'm coming to help. Oh my God, he's actually saying what. When we say this sedition was orchestrated by the U.S., it wasn't merely a claim. What makes it clear that this movement was by the U.S. are the remarks of the U.S. president himself. He explicitly addressed these rioters and told them, keep going, I'm coming to help. Oh, that's it. That's it. I'm done. That's it. I'm done. I need to step aside before I lose it. He's fucking... Look what he wrote. He's blaming the president directly. calling them rioters. You remember? Help is on the way. He's referring to that. I'm coming to help. Keep going, keep going. Keep protesting. That's what he's referring to. He's using it now. He's using it now. He's using Trump's words against them. You sent him a tweet? The tweet. I'm sorry. It's like a Grand Central Station in my room. I apologize, everybody. Where is it on the top of your comment? Eugene, do you really want to put yourself out like that? I don't know if that's a smart idea, dude. I bet you tweeted. Where's your tweet at the top? I don't know where to look. Look at the Iranian drone in Turkish airspace. I'll check it in a second. Exactly. I don't... God! Take it. It's on the floor in front of you.
Thank you.
I'm done with negotiation, but I think the president's doing this just to say that he did. I am livid right now. Where is your comment, Eugene? I don't mean to say that your comment doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's in one of his tweets at the top, but I need to know which one. No, I get it, John. I get it. And believe me, I'm angry not at anyone. I'm angry at what I'm reading. All right, let me. Do I need to go on? Look at this. That's the one I read earlier. The recent sedition was orchestrated by the Zionists in the U.S. I was informed through a certain channel that the CIA and Mossad deployed all their resources into the field. Nevertheless, they were defeated. The sedition's plan was developed abroad, and it was managed from abroad. I'm done. I'm serious. I'm done. This is not negotiable now. I'm so done. All right, I'm going to look. Yeah, we need to take action. He went after the president. They threatened the president pretty directly on state TV with that. I keep saying that caption. Next time it won't miss its target. How much do we take? As Americans, I know it's rage baiting. I know this is rage baiting. And it's working because I'm really pissed right now. Blaming, just read that. When we say the sedition was orchestrated by the U.S., it isn't merely a claim. What makes it clear that this movement was by the U.S. are the remarks of the U.S. president himself. He explicitly addressed these rioters and told them, keep going, I'm coming to help. If the president sees that, now I'm coming to help you, motherfucker. And you're going to be on the top of my hit list now. Exactly. You want to negotiate with this trash? Absolutely not. I'll tell you this right now. I would never negotiate with them. Never. I don't give a shit if you're showing face and you're trying to show that we tried only to make a move after. I get it. I kind of get that, but I'm at the point where I would not even had... Listen, we sent how much more do we have to do? We sent the Qatar Farm PM, Prime Minister of Foreign Affairs, to send a message from us to them, comes back, and now we have another. That answer wasn't good enough, I guess. They still want to talk. They want to meet in person now in Turkey. For what? For what? It's like, but it could be for our purpose to agree to delay so that we get more shit in the area. That's the only thing I can conclude that makes this sense, and also that we could say we tried. Those are the only two things that make me add up that makes sense to this. To get more assets in position, including another carrier, and to also say that we tried to negotiate with them and it failed. And then you'll hear about the hit first, and then that we tried to negotiate and it failed. It would fall in that order. It would be the attack first, and then the president would come out or someone and say, we tried to conduct diplomatic negotiations, but it failed. That's the only scenario that makes sense to me right now. Period. That's it. And good morning to everybody. You can. It's all a show. I agree. Tammy, you know how much love and support we have of your husband. And we would, I mean, in a, how would I say this? In some kind of a world, we would love to see this resolved peacefully, but you can't deal with them. And if you can't trust them, you can't do anything with them. You can't have any negotiation with a regime like this. And even if you did, could you trust the deal with them? Absolutely fucking not. There is no possibility of negotiating with them. In my view, you don't negotiate with this. It's not realistic. And I'm not a warmonger or a war hawk. You just cannot deal with people like that. You just can't. I mean, if it's, oh my God. How could you say in one phrase, I'm just going to say this in a political sense, the lefty extremists, the radical lefties, and that's not radical? How does that work? I mean, it doesn't get more radical than what we're seeing in Iran. It just does. That's like the fucking icing, cherry on the cake. It doesn't get more radical. It's unacceptable. You don't deal with them. It makes no sense to me, other than the outline I just said a couple of minutes ago. It's the only thing that makes sense to me. I know, I've heard about, it's not about the protectors of the world. It's that's such a narrow way of looking at it. It's not about just Iran. It's about the whole geopolitical thing that would be affected by this. It's not a small fraction. It's the whole picture. The protectors of the world, do you realize how much national security interest, economic interest to the United States this means? It's not just about, we can't be, I agree with that. But this is much bigger on the scale of the national security interests of the United States. Is Israel an important ally of us? Does this create a whole different region? China, Russia influence, Israel, our assets in the region, possibly having future bases there. Do you realize the geopolitical scale of this? It's not just about, we can't just help people. It's way more than that. It's way more than that. If that was the same view, we would have lost World War II. If the same view would have took place, that opinion, the Germans probably would have took over the fucking world. That same view, we can't help the people of England and all that. And Germany was doing its thing. Oh, no. We can't. They would have rolled in their graves. They would have rolled in their graves. It's more than that. It's more than, we can't just free all people. It's a lot more than that at stake. It affects the whole world. It's such a global effect. China, Russia, Israel. I mean, it's on so many levels. It changes everything geopolitically. And like some people say, oil. I mean, you could look at this from so many different ways. Germany had already lost Russia. That is not true. That is not true. That's you look at the timeline. Do you know World War II? World War II. Now, who got us involved? But do you think that when we got involved, when Japan hit us, was when we got involved? We were helping the UK. We were helping our allies, supplying them. Now, were we directly involved in the war? No. We were drawn into the war. Oh, no. We were helping our allies. Germany already lost to Russia? When? I mean, that just made my head spin. And we all know about the winter that war devastated the Germans. And that was Germany's big mistake, was to take on Russia. That was a big mistake. Especially in the midst of winter and getting the supplies to those troops. Caught in the snow, dead, fuel, so resupply, everything. That was a major blunder on the Germans' part. Who is key in Norway? I mean, just think of the war. We played such a major role and lost so many of our people in that war. You think of, I mean, my God. I don't even want to think about World War II because it's such a horrific for so many people, so many countries. I mean, so many lives were lost. So many American lives were lost. That is not to be compared. And I know it's all about no more wars. We talked about this already. We're not the world police. I agree with that. It's not our problem. The Monroe Doctrine, I get all that. I get all that. I get it. And how many Russians dead? Yes. I mean, across the board, what about the Chinese? Why do you think they hate the Japanese? I mean, the whole region. You could talk about one. You got to look at how the whole region was affected during World War II. I mean, Japanese were brutal. They were cruel. Ask the Chinese what they think about Japan and still think about Japan. You think they forgive them? Exactly, Doug. They would spread thin. They couldn't fight on those two fronts. That's what that was a big mistake. Big mistake. Look at that. I can't imagine what they experienced on Pearl Harbor either. But I don't want to get taken off track by that. Let's not get off track now. That's my fault for even going there. Yeah. Exactly, the winter. Agreed. Ask a Korean about Japan. Exactly. I just got spun. That's my fault, though, for doing it. Anyway, let's get back to this. He went on a rant. Somebody said that earlier. He really, really did go on a rant. The Ayatollah. He went off on a crazy rant. Let's see. Somebody said something about a drone. Where did their drone go? Did it disappear again? Tusi was live earlier, so that means he's not going to go live till this afternoon, probably. If anybody sees anything about Tusi, let me know. You said something about an Iranian drone near Turkey, if I read that right. What the hell is that? That's looks like one right there. Oh, yeah. There's one. I see it. Whoever caught that, good catch. There's another UK drone here. And this is only what I always say that a million times, only what the transponders are on. More C-17s. I always keep an eye on Spain. C-130. Another tanker. Another C-17. German. So, let me ask this question to all of you. Do you foresee anything happening this week? Or are we waiting to see if this develops and this meeting happens and then something happens after? Let me ask you that question. Do you see the fan got quiet now? I got to change that fan. So let me ask you the question. You guys, I'm not going to put the poll. Do you think nothing happens this week? Yes or no? Simple. Do you see anything happening during the week? Yes or no? I say no. John says Friday weekend. Thursday at the earliest. Nothing before weekend. I don't believe this meeting will even take place. That could be possible. Helmut says today. No. What's up, UFO bro? Yes, I agree though with you, UFO bro. 100%. I've been saying it. No. Save the British soul. No. I think next week is a possibility. I think something happening during the week after. Okay. Friday night. Becky says yes. InfoWarrior says no. Eugene is the second person. Is the T the second person? No, Becky Ada says yes. Nothing on 2 weeks. I know why you say that, Navi. Nothing happens after Friday night. It never happens. It's never what the consensus is. That's true. You definitely could be right. Oh, Metal says yes, no. Oh, is it a simple yes, no? I've got one serious question. If he takes it, what the hell is my husband doing over there fighting for? Well, your husband's there, with our forces in the event that action needs to take place. It's peace through strength policy. They're just trying to say face down. Trump knows they're not going to cave into his bans. I agree. Tonight is the night because no one expects a Monday. I mean, that's always a possibility. I still think the U.S. is sending more stuff. I agree with Frog. I think the carrier Nimitz is getting in there. I don't think yes would give the idea of Iran knowing it will happen in weekend. Sure, that's possible too. We expect the weekend, and the president's unpredictable. If they cancel the meeting, it could happen sooner, but Friday. That is also a big possibility. They don't wait for the weekend. Valentine's Day, the 14th, while they're having the protest that Reza Pahlavi said, Phoenix thinks tonight. Bud Guy thinks, I think it's over. Tammy, there will be no deal. That's what Ada says. Yeah, I agree. He doesn't want to be predictable, Go Climb. It may not be on the weekend like we all think it's going to happen on the weekend. Still have time. Trump instinct to negotiate is too strong. It gives us time to map every inch of overwhelming force. I think the negotiations is a ploy of stalling and just to say that the president had attempted to negotiate. I think action is still coming. That's just my opinion. I'm reading all of you. Maybe today because it's unexpected. The market's going to suffer regardless. Yes. Regardless. No, I don't think anything happens till the weekend. BB is not letting this go. That is a separate issue because remember, it's not just nuclear. That's been made clear. It's not just nuclear. Trump knows there's no deal. I agree. Trump does know that there's no deal. You're right. But he's still putting up a front to show that he tried. People realize it would be 2003 all over again, not some quick attack. That is true. Correct, because we are seeing mysterious explosions already. Yes, but that, you know, that is an interesting mystery. Whether it's you want to go with the gas, which I'm not buying, and it's not external, it's internal. Whatever that means, it's internal. Whatever's happening with that, it's either, I mean, a natural cause, fire, gas, or it's happening from an internal source, whatever that means. Iraq took 6 months. I personally think it'll take longer, slightly shorter, because, yeah, it took even months to prepare for Venezuela, and that's Venezuela. This meeting is just buying us more time, nothing else. I agree with Spider. To prepare, the person is Shadow Taker makes a turn above Netherlands. We've seen so many strata tankers though. They could be refueling and there's more stuff coming in. I heard nothing will happen for another 8 weeks. I don't know if it will go that long. It took months to prepare Iraq. Yes. UAE has lots of air forces. They might be doing a training exercise. It's those planes that they always use. All it takes is a small... that's another thing, too, that we're missing, too. All right, I got most of your vibe on this. Many of you think it's not going to happen during the week. Some of you think it might happen today. A lot of you think it may not happen on the weekend because that would be too predictable based on past events. And some of you even say it might be longer than that. So everybody, you know what I mean? We're all over the board on it, but the majority agree it won't happen this week unless certain things happen. And there are still a few that think that something could even happen as early tonight. There's also this other part. What happens if there's a miscalculation? Then all bets are off. Especially with them playing with that drone near the carrier. They make one false move, one miscalculation, they're getting annihilated. We're not going to allow that to our personnel to be threatened. And that's armed, that drone, by the way. One miscalculation on their part, and believe me, that CENTCOM put that out Friday. One miscalculation, they're toast. Regardless of who's ready, what's there, one miscalculation, they're getting fried, in my opinion. To me, that's the thing that all bets are off. Yeah, in other words, we don't know. That's so true. Young, yes. Jay Young, absolutely. That just tells you how everybody's, speculating, guessing, definitely me. I'm just like all of you. Listen, what I say, you could be sitting here and talking to people and saying the same thing different than I am right now. You know what I mean? All of your voices are this. It's like we all are speculating. That's all it is. And voicing up, like me, I do speak about my own personal opinion. But any of us could do that. Do you know what I mean? It's awesome. I always say that, to see how all of you come together. And I swear I value everyone's opinion, whether I agree or disagree, because it makes me think. And I like that. Shit. Maybe they have a point there. Maybe they're right. Being an objective person that I am, I like it. I like when people don't agree because it makes me think. What am I missing? Am I missing something? It makes me think. And I like that. You know what I mean? Yes, voicing opinions. And like I said, it makes me say, that's a freaking awesome point. That's why I read your comments, by the way. So a lot of people don't do that. They take a super chat or do that. I like to read everybody's opinion to put it out there, because your voice is just as relevant as my voice. You all have a voice. And I think it's important to put it out there. And sometimes I don't say names because I don't want to throw people under a bus if they don't want to be mentioned. You know what I mean? It's respect. Someone heard about the Syrian army fighting. They could be fighting with the Kurds. What the hell was that outside my door? No, there was not a deal made. There's supposed to be meetings in Turkey by Friday, allegedly. Because I love you. It's a family. It's like a community, extended family. I love it. I do. Trump wants leadership change. Yes, but how many of the IRGC are fanatical and would just simply replace the? That's a very, very valid point. You're dealing with two entities, the regime itself and the IRGC. And my friend said, you got to go after the IRGC. That's the priority, the IRGC. That's what my friend, the military guy. Maybe I'll get him on sometime this week. I'll try to see if he wants to come on. Jordanians are standing. Oh, but they already won the Jordanians. I don't know if you saw that. Let me see if I can find that. I can get this off. Let me see if I can find that. They warned the Jordanians not to allow us to use their airspace. I saw that earlier. Now they're putting that shit out there. Now, do you think that's going to happen? Because they're made aware of the what's going on in Jordan. They're not stupid. Now, do I believe that? That is bullshit. So, you know, depending on where you go, you know, the propaganda side is twisting it. I'll just show you. I really don't want to, but because they're twisting it like they do every fucking thing else. They twist it. They take things out of context and they spin it. Is that not to be expected? So this is what they're claiming. The Foreign Minister of the Kingdom of Jordan. I held a phone call with His Excellency, the Iranian Foreign Minister, discussing the situation in the region and the efforts being made to de-escalate tensions. And I would need somebody in Persian to translate this because it's not being automatically translated. Exactly, Cluster. Good morning, Candace. One of the sides of the screen is the military unknowns, drones, and all this. This is civilian, Candace. That's why there's a split screen up. This one says, the Kingdom of Jordan announces it will not allow the use of its territory to launch an attack on Iran. And it's being reinstated by others saying the same thing. And it's a lot of the pro-regime stuff saying it. And Jordan says it would not allow any country to use its airspace or territory to launch military action against Iran. And somebody wrote, yeah, we've heard that before. Now remember, a lot of what's there is like the UK is to defend. It's a defensive posture. They're not going to be directly involved in an attack on Iran. To make it clear, they're there for defensive positioning. Follow? So when they say it's not, the airspace is not to be used to launch a military campaign, okay, but a lot of that's going to be used as our backup for defensive measures and for the defensive measures for Jordan and Israel. So there could be a little shade in that comment. And that's what somebody wrote. This bit of Jordan's message to Iran is the most important. It's Jordan telling Iran that, like last time, they will shoot down Iranian drones and missiles that are heading to Israel. After all, Jordan's only role as of this moment for Israel is to be his protective shield, like it did in the last time. Tutsi's on in 35. But do you understand? Jordan is not going to get directly in. They're not going to. It didn't happen with Israel during the 12-day. They were there to help intercept missiles, if you remember. It was seen over Jordan. And the UK presence is also there for defensive measures. They're not there to directly attack Iran. So it makes sense. But they make it sound, they make it more like, what's the word? Sensationalizing it. Like, you know what I mean? You know how everything can be taken out of context and blown out of proportion, exaggerated, The hype. It's like the hype. Like, make it more sensationalized. It makes sense. They didn't do it the last time. Like I said, there's a lot of. This is what somebody told me. I'm not going to mention it. So somebody they're saying is being executed, or it happened already because that would have been earlier. But what do you believe? You know what I mean? Without verifying. So Tusi's live in a half hour? I'm going to have to get off and check him out. What's the title? Does anybody know the title of Tusi's show? Somebody says, no, the IRGC is the same as the government, as you could clearly see the government wearing the clothes. Yeah, they put on the uniforms because of what the EU did, labeling them as a terrorist organization. That was to show support for the IRGC. That's what that was. That was a stunt. That's why they did that, because the EU labeled them as a terrorist organization, so they were showing their support to the IRGC by putting on those uniforms. That's what that was about. Oh, you guys are talking about the enriched uranium? But remember what the Ayatollah said today. He actually quoted the president, not quoted, paraphrased, that the president is responsible directly when he said help is on the way, they're going to help you, all this. He used that today. He said that in a tweet. That got me nuts. What's Tusi's title? I'm going to have to go to Tusi. I want to see. But you saw what he wrote, right? What the Ayatollah wrote. I can go back. I directly put it on the president, blaming him. He put it directly on the president. And that's got me like cray-cray, but it's rage bait. Look. Look what he wrote. This, I don't know, for those who may have missed it earlier. He's been going crazy, ranting on X. When we say the sedition was orchestrated by the U.S., it wasn't merely a claim. What makes it clear that this movement was by the U.S. are the remarks of the U.S. president himself. He explicitly addressed these rioters and told them, keep going, keep going. Remember when he said, keep protesting? I'm coming to help. Help is on the way. Now they're using it. He's using it now. He's using it. The supreme asshole is using that. That's a no bueno. Eso no bueno. That's not good. He's actually using it. And it is definitely rage baiting. They're calling, you have to see what they're saying about MAGA supporters on their propaganda arm. Oh my God. You support a pedophile. It's all about Epstein, all this shit. I'm like, oh my fucking God. You don't want to, you can't even imagine. If you are not aware of it, it is sick. I'm telling you, it'll make, you may not want to eat after you see some of the shit that they're putting out there about the president. That is it's rage baiting. Okay, so now I see Tusi. IRGC lose key Hezbollah base. Israel launch attack on IRGC Hezbollah. Khamenei and meltdown. That's the description. Yeah, right, Sean? There is an unidentified hovering over Baghdad more than an hour. There was one over near Turkey, too, that the Iranians had flying around that one. I'm not seeing anything near Baghdad. And I got all the filters on, so I don't know. Maybe turn this transponder off. I see the one by Turkey. This one. Somebody made me aware of that. And thank you to your help, all of you. Look at his Trump post in True Social. Oh, boy. I hope people are telling him what's going on. I really fucking do. I hope they're not afraid to show him what's really going on. That always concerns me. U.S. forces, he's in Somalia. Fox News repost. Oh, right here. He reposted a Fox News thing. Trump has been very clear in message to Iran, State Department spokesman says. And he's the one that, this guy that is on that Fox News, he's the one that says strength, peace through strength. He's the one that always says it, peace through strength. That's the spokesman. I'm going to play this. We're definitely playing this. But who's the people? Tommy Pickett discusses ongoing possibility of Sunday night in America. Why isn't the Fox News thing loading? Come on. It's not loading for me. I'm going to have to look this up. I got to look Gowdy up on X. Maybe he shared it. Thank you for that heads up. Maybe if I go to Sunday Night in America with Trey Gowdy, maybe he's got the clip there. No, I'm going to have to go to maybe his post. If anybody has an X link, please send it to me. For some reason, it's not loading. I'm going to his personal page now. Nothing there. What happened? If you can help, how much longer before Tusi? Because I'm getting off to watch. Oh my God! How am I gonna find this? The Fox one is not working. It's not loading for some reason. Now it's loading. It's loading now. Let's see what it said. I'm going to play it before we go see, well, not we, I go see Tusi. Ready? Here we go.
Welcome back to Sunday Night in America. This is not a good time to visit Tehran. Actually, it's never a good time to visit a despotic theocracy. President Trump set a deadline for nuclear talks. Iran ignored him and paid a very steep price. Now, he's including the protesters.
Could you give us an update on where your thinking is right now with Iran, if you have made a final decision on what you want to do?
I mean, I certainly can't tell you that, but we do have very big, powerful ships heading in that direction. I hope they negotiate something that's acceptable. If you could make a negotiated deal that would be satisfactory with no nuclear weapons, they should do that, but I don't know that they will, but they are talking to us, seriously talking to us.
We know about that.
The Iranian people rose up seeking freedom. Many were killed. Is the U.S. willing to support protesters more aggressively? Is help on the way? Joining us is Deputy Spokesperson for the State Department, Tommy Pickett. Welcome, Mr. Pickett. Thank you for joining us. These protests began weeks ago. Did the U.S. come to the aid of the Iranian people then? And if so, how can more be done?
Well, look, the context of this is a maximum pressure policy that was reinstituted by President Trump in the very beginning of his administration. And that's a policy that was designed to deny the Iranian regime the revenue they needed to fund their malign activities. That includes ballistic missiles, the nuclear program. That includes funding their terrorist proxies around the region. So we had this maximum pressure policy, and we've seen actions continuing up even to this week about implementing that maximum pressure policy to deny the Iranian regime the revenue they need for those malign activities, including that nuclear program that was obliterated by President Trump.
All right, Tommy, I see people on both sides of the political aisle kind of light their hair on fire over this phrase regime change, like it's somehow a pejorative. I mean, we make changes every 2 years in this country. We change leaders every 4 or 8 years at the very top. If Iran is the head of the snake, and so many people have said that it is, why keep current leadership?
Well, ultimately, the president is focused on our national interests, those national interests that he's outlined. He has a very clear message for the regime: no nuclear weapons, stop killing protesters. And the president has shown that he is willing to talk to anyone when it is in our national interest to do so. So the president has been very clear about what he's looking here from the regime. He's been clear he wants to see the regime make a deal. We have this maximum pressure policy in place. The president, again, focused on our national interests, making sure that America is secure, our allies are secure. That's what the president is always focused on, and this is no exception here.
All right, let me ask you about Cuba. Here's the president on Cuba, and I'll ask you about it on the other side.
So that's the reference to Iran. And that's the State Department spokesman. Take that however you seem to take that. To me, that's a public posture. It's not just about nuclear. It has to do with, and as far as stop killing the protesters, well, they're still killing them. They're executing. They've done so much. I mean, slaughtered possibly 80,000 plus, as some numbers indicate. Cannot confirm that. The people are in their homes. I mean, I don't, you could turn that into twist it like a pretzel. I still think that's just a public posture to say we're trying to negotiate, we're trying to they're not going to agree to the deal because it's not just about the nuclear. It's not just about the nuclear. I mean, that he reposted that. I know those comments were made recently by the president on Air Force One. They're talking to us. That's recent. That's not old. So I don't know what to make of it. What does Smokey say? Exactly. It's about the proxies too. Exactly. It's not just about the nuclear. It's about the money going to the proxies. It's about their missile program. Israel is silent. You see, let's see if there's any comments. How much longer before Tusi? How much more time before Tusi, if anybody could tell me? So I'm going to get off. I'm jumping off to watch Tusi on my TV. I'm trying to find the comment that came from Israel. How 20 minutes. Oh my God. Do you want to hear what the other side said? Iran's 3 conditions for a good deal. Israel ends nuclear program. Israel ends genocide. Israel ends supremacism. And it's being reposted by RT. Oh my God. And Israel set 3 conditions for reaching an agreement with Iran: ending the nuclear program, ending their missile program, and halting support for proxies in the Middle East. An Iranian official responded, "These are surrender terms, and we are ready to confront both the United States and Israel." So, what do you think the likelihood is of a deal? And it's being reported on their news outlets, Israeli Channel 12, the same thing I just said. Prime Minister Netanyahu will present to Witkoff tomorrow Israel's boundaries for deal with Iran. The red lines include the familiar positions on preventing uranium enrichment, halting the missile program, and ending support for terrorist organizations. From those 3 points, again. Open source Intel is putting that up 20 minutes ago. You can only imagine what the other side is interpreting this as. Let me just read it first before I... Israeli officials fear the U.S. could settle for a deal limited to Iran's nuclear program, leaving aside its ballistic missile development and support for proxy forces. Issues Israel views as existential threats, particularly the missile program. So you know there's going to be some serious discussions between Netanyahu and Witkoff. That's a non-starter as far as Israel's concerned. It cannot just be nuclear is what I'm saying, and I've been saying that. RT spreading it. How old is this? Oh my God, it's CNN.
Like
What?
enrichment. Things like ballistic missiles, things like proxy forces in the region. I know that the United States has talked about wanting to negotiate about that as well. Is that completely out of the question for you, or is that something you could at least talk about?
President Trump said no nuclear weapons, and we fully agree with that. That could be a very good deal. Of course, in return, we expect sanction lifting. So that deal is possible. Let's do not talk about impossible things.
Like enrichment.
What?
Things like
Wait a minute.
ballistic missiles.
Why did
things
CNN
like
cut that?
proxy-
Whoa. CNN cut that. What was his response to the missile program and the proxies? What the fuck? They cut it. Do you want to see the video? What the fuck? This is why I can't stomach it. It drives me nuts. This is the shit that makes me cringe. Look. You see that you see they edited it. Check this out.
Like enrichment. Things like ballistic missiles, things like proxy forces in the region. I know that the United States has talked about wanting to negotiate about that as well. Is that completely out of the question for you, or is that something you could at least talk about?
Now, that's a legitimate question because it's not just about the nuclear. It's about the proxies. It's about the missile program. That's Israel's 3 points right there, what he just asked. That is a legitimate, but look what they do.
Trump said no nuclear weapons, and we fully agree with that. That could be a very good deal. Of course, in return, we expect sanction lifting. So that deal is possible. Let's do not talk about impossible things.
Let's not talk about impossible things. So what does that mean? The missile program's impossible? The proxy support is impossible? That's my interpretation on that. But look how it cuts. What?
Like enrichment.
Look, you see how they cut it? What else did he say? I want to know. Oh my God. What else did he say?
Things like ballistic missiles.
I'm going to play it
things
again.
like proxy forces in the region. I know that the United States has talked about wanting to negotiate about that as well. Is that completely out of the question for you, or is that something you could at least talk about?
President Trump said no nuclear weapons, and we fully agree with that. That could be a very good deal. Of course, in return, we expect sanction lifting. So that deal is possible. Let's do not talk about impossible things.
There's no fucking deal. They're not even addressing their missile program because they see that as their. I mean, if you ask any country to give up their missile program, because that's what Israel wants, you know they're not doing that. That's not negotiable. And the proxy money, give me a break. Are you serious? Because you know their proxies would freak out if they would agree to a deal. We're not going to give you no more money. And even if they agreed, you trust them, then they're not going to send money to their proxies? That is almost fucking laughable. I wonder if this whole interview is available somewhere. Proxies equals resistance groups. Death to Israel. The destruction of Israel. That's what that represents. Resistance, right? No nukes. And that includes Israel. That's all over the internet, by the way. On X. Israel got to give up their nuclear program. They can't have no nukes. All that. That's part of their good deal. The Bacardi 151 is still sealed. Oh my God. Oh shit. They're saying ballistic missile programs. So this deal count for these cruise missiles? Can we not watch this? I think the whole video is somewhere. Smokey, later when I come back, if you find it, send me a link later because I want to go watch Tusi. Tusi is live. Let's see. And that's, I can't remember his name. Fred something. He's like he's always in Moscow. He's like their international guy. And I know he's there because he did that clip from a week ago when he was in front of that big, huge banner that had our destroyer being destroyed. You know, that big one? Oh my God. He's live in 11 minutes. Tusi's live in 11 minutes. My stomach is turning. I wanted to eat. Oh, did it disappear? That shit is making a lot of noise again. Yeah. Yeah, why does Israel be allowed to have nukes but Iran can't? Israel has never confirmed or denied they have nukes. Yeah, I hear you, Sean. Yeah, I gotta go eat and watch Tusi while I eat. Anyway, let's go. Tusi's live in 10 minutes. Love to everybody. Be well, be blessed, be safe. I'll be back later on this afternoon. Maybe Sep will be around and we'll hang out. I expect nothing to happen at all. Zero. Until this plays out. And this way they could say that they tried. If the meeting even happens. Because that hasn't been confirmed either. Because they might say, well, we're going to have this meeting, but this is what's on the table. They may say, we're not agreeing to that. There's no reason for a meeting because we're not agreeing to that. It could just fall and collapse any minute if it hasn't already. Because it's not just about the nukes. It's about the other stuff too. And I'm sure they got to make that clear. This is what we're meeting about. Why am I wasting my time to go there if you're not even going to agree? This is what we're going to discuss. This is not, it's impossible. He said it. It's impossible. The other stuff is impossible. So that tells me, why even go? No? Exactly. Iran could cancel it. That's what I'm saying, Smokey. It's like, Iran is like, wait a minute. We're meeting for this? We don't accept this. There's no reason to meet. This is not part of what we're the meeting. You said nuclear. This is not has nothing to do with the nuclear. This has to do with the missile program, proxies, releasing protesters, whatever. No. This has nothing to do with that. You're right. They could call it off and say, that's it. Later, Frog. Anyway, later to everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Be well, be blessed, be safe. I'll see everybody later. Make sure to go check out Tusi. Tusi's live. Go check out Tusi TV if you're interested. You'll find it. And I'll see 9 minutes. I'll see everybody later. Be well, be blessed, be safe. I'm out.